Yeah, get it on. Got to get on a Tuesday, good Monday. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in and telling a friend. Excited to see Dana Gould in the studio. Always so much to get into with Dana Gould. Chris Max Patterson News over there. Dana just back from Sweden. Is that correct?
I did. I went to Sweden and Norway.
How was it?
It was great. I'd never been to the highest north I'd been is Scotland. I've been to Edinburgh, and my wife's family is from Sweden. And I had nothing for the summer because Mr. Goldthwait and I were getting ready to do another one of our blockbuster movies.
It's called Screwing the Pooch, too?
Yeah, exactly.
He did do a movie where someone had sex with their dog, right?
He did, yes.
Okay.
It's called...
Well, that would be a good name.
It's called... oh, gosh. How do I...
Robin Williams is in it? Or
No,
that's
that's in The World's Best Dad.
Oh, that's
Sleeping
right.
Dogs Lie.
Sleeping Dogs Lie, yeah.
Just throw out Screwing the Pooch, too. It's,
Yeah.
You know,
it does work.
It does work.
I'm not in that one. We did Joyride, not the new female comedy Joyride. And we're doing this other movie that we're going to make, but then we went on, so I cleared out my schedule for the summer to do that, and then we went on strike, so the movie stopped, and then I had nothing. So my wife is family from Sweden, so we're like, well, I'm not making any money. Let's spend a lot.
Yes.
That's a good plan. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it looked like you had a good time. I saw a video of you in Norway.
Yeah,
doing
that was
the Norwegian.
Oh, you did the
Ghastly.
plunge.
Yeah.
The cold water
my
plunge.
apologies for a shirtless me, but here it comes. But yeah, they do that all the time. It's like they have like, good morning. Well, let's jump in cold water, and then we'll go to breakfast, and then we'll jump in more cold water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
it's
into
freezing.
the sauna.
Yeah. I don't see the point in it, but they do it 4 times a day.
I do it, and I think the point of it is sort of twofold. Like, whatever the benefits are of physiologically, there's studies that say it's good for you. But for me, it's you breaking your own will.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only point. It's like I'm going to stick myself with a pin, and then I'm going to take the pin out, and it'll feel better.
Right.
Well, sure.
Yes. Yes.
If you don't stick yourself with the pin, it's even better.
I'm going to put myself through something that's uncomfortable
Yes.
so that I have dominion over myself.
Yeah.
And then later we'll eat Chick-fil-A.
You're like a cutter. It's
Yeah.
like, you're in charge of the pain, not
Yes,
the world.
yes.
You're
My
in charge.
stepdad used to be in charge of my pain.
Sure. Yeah. Now you are the boss. Yeah.
Now I'm the boss, so I'm getting another tattoo.
You and I are closer to 13-year-old women than we ever think in our mentality.
I know. So Sweden was great.
But it was amazing. One, it is a race of supermen and superwomen. It's just like everyone is 6 feet tall and gorgeous.
Right.
And I'm literally walking around like I look like I'm leaving for Mordor in the morning.
Did they yell at you to put your shirt back on?
Yeah, and my wife is nearly 6 feet tall, so it really does look like a scene from The Hobbit every time we're out in public. She's just sending me off. And but now everybody speaks English. It's embarrassing.
Yes.
Everyone's gorgeous, and the weather was great. Nobody lived in a tent that I saw.
Wow. Well, in more localized news, I'd done something I hadn't done in a long time, which is I went out car shopping over the weekend. And
Is that sweet Hyundai Elantra I saw out front?
it's getting pretty close there. I'm driving my daughter's car. My daughter had a car leased for her when she turned 16, but neglected to get her driver's license, and she's now 17. Wow. So I, being the frugal guy that I am, when I turned my car in, I was like, why is this car just sitting here gathering dust? So I'm driving around my daughter's it's a miniature Mercedes. It'll get you around, but it's no great digs. But
sure.
I decided now.
I'm driving a RAV4. So.
Yes. I know. Like you're driving a car for a lesbian who moves to Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's the new Saab.
Yes, it is. No, RAV4, maybe not so much anymore, but the first generation and the early generations of RAV4s and would be Honda CRV.
Yeah.
I always look at that and I go, that's a car for people who don't like cars. They wish they didn't have to. My stepmother drove the Honda CRD or CRV.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but like, it's not. She didn't want a car. She wishes she lived in some metropolitan place where she could take the subway. But that's a car for people who don't like cars.
And that was the great thing about Sweden was so many beautiful old Volvos.
Oh, really?
Like that, and that is the car. Like I want like a old Volvo, like a 60s, 70s Volvo, and I will spend the money to get it. I had a 92 240, the box.
Yeah, that not the Z car, but the Volvo.
And I love that car.
I did.
I gave it to a friend of mine's son. And now I kind of want it back.
I'm gonna piggyback on this exact thought, but I'm gonna take a little bit of a U-turn on it, which is, at some point when I was out just looking at cars, I found myself walking into the Porsche dealership and the Mercedes dealership, and all the dealerships, the high-end dealerships, have these huge, big mural posters of them winning Le Mans, like 1957, and Porsche's, storied history. I mean, you couldn't figure out which Porsche to memorialize on these walls, and champagne being sprayed in black and white and stuff. And then I walked into the Volvo dealership, and there was like a shitty car that my mom's friend had when I was 14, just on a poster. It's like, you don't have to put a picture of one of your old cars
This
up.
car as featured in room 222.
That's right. Karen Black drove this car. Like, it's a shitbox from the 70s, but they don't have any other.
They're oddly my old father-in-law, my ex-father-in-law has the 64 two-door Volvo.
Right, the kind of sporty.
Yeah, the tomato thing, and that's beautiful. But no, I kind of love. They're like Jack. If Jack Webb was a car, so drab, it's beautiful.
Right, yeah.
So drab, it's exotic.
Wearing a buzz cut and right in the middle of Vietnam and hair down your waist, you know what I mean? He's just walking around.
Yeah, walking around.
High and tight.
Smoking a Pall Mall.
Like a clip-on tie.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's weird. Now that Saab is gone, Volvo has to sort of carry on.
Yep.
And they were always just sort of...
Oh, is Saab gone? I didn't know Saab was gone.
I think Saab is gone.
What a Saab story. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks,
Saab was weird for being weird. You drove a Saab so that you could let the world know that you were a little bit different,
Yeah, as my wife likes to say when she sees people that are just trying too hard.
Right.
Jimmy, I get it. You're weird.
Jimmy had a Saab for a little while, and the keys went in. The car started with the keys in the console, like underneath the stick shift, right?
Yeah.
But every time I drove with Jimmy, especially at night, he'd be trying to get his key in, and then it would slip and it would fall down under the seat. His keychain would be under the seat, and we'd have to dig around for it under the seat. And it's like, this is the world's worst place to put an ignition.
Yeah,
but they're Saab, they're weird.
What's the key that was in the dashboard? There was one that was in the dashboard. That car is in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That Brad Pitt drives, whatever that was.
Oh, he drove in that movie a Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, and then he drove Leonardo DiCaprio's, I think, Cadillac, but I don't know what Buick or something.
Had the key in the
dash, in the dash rather than the console. But anything's better than the transmission hump.
Yeah. No, that it's also inviting your keys to, as you say, fall and disappear. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, if you know the scene where he's driving Leonardo DiCaprio home and he sees the Manson chick that he's been kind of flirting with, Andy McDowell's daughter in real life, and she points like, "You're going this way," and he kind of goes, "I'm going that way," and he turns and she keeps walking. She's walking to my house. It's my house right behind her. I was like,
your house is pictured.
Yeah, and like, when the hell did they shoot that?
Wow.
Found out while watching.
Well, you're probably in the Netherlands or something.
Yeah,
you globetrotter.
I was seeking the ring from the Three Rings of Mordor.
I forgot, because car dealers and guys who worked at car dealerships, my whole life were 51-year-old white guys with pens in their pocket who could tell you how much horsepower the V8 had and how much torque the same V8 had, and they were sort of slimy, but they're also understood the product pretty well.
Yeah, they knew what they were selling.
And the thing that's interesting is the new breed of cat who works at the car dealer is not a breed of cat. It's like a 23-year-old Latina chick who doesn't know anything about the product at all.
But she's hot, and she brings you into the showroom, and you want to talk to her.
And it looks kind of, diverse and everything, but you start asking questions, they have zero answers. And the thing that's interesting is the average person who's behind the counter at an In-N-Out burger knows way more about their product that costs $5.69 than a person that is selling a $67,000 vehicle. This is $67,000, and you've not acquainted yourself with this vehicle for $67,000. But if you go across the street to the fucking T-Mobile store and you want to buy a $300 phone, they will know way more about the product, which is weird.
That is fascinating.
So I walk in. Yeah,
they're pretty. I mean, I'm assuming.
I know, but you should have a beat sheet or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or go through a small 2-hour seminar on this product that is going to be $73,000 when we get it out the door.
Wikipedia page.
Right.
But does the owner of the showroom think, I've got to get some eye candy? Because I was thinking, a guy walks into the showroom, who does he want to talk to? He wants to talk to the beautiful. See, here's the thing. He wants to talk to the beautiful woman salesperson because he thinks, one, she's a beautiful woman, I'm going to talk to her. Two, there's the implied brainstem prejudice that I'm going to know more about this car than she does, so I'm going to get the best deal possible because I'm a dude and she's a chick. In this case, unfortunately, it happens to be correct, but so I can understand from the showroom why you'd want those people on your sales force. The weird thing is that she actually doesn't know about the car. Like, if she was a genius, it would be brilliant because she would just take you apart like a rotisserie chicken.
I'm told that there is an all-electric Genesis, which is basically Genesis is the Hyundai, what Lexus is the Toyota, what Infiniti is the Nissan.
Okay, I got you.
And what you want, it's sort of like, the basic premise of the fat chick gives a better blowjob because she's got to work a little harder. And that's basically what Genesis is. Genesis is trying to get up to Audi.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm still writing that down.
I'm going to write a children's book. It's science. Now, Genesis is trying to catch up to Audi, trying to catch up to Mercedes and all that. But they're, I don't know, Korean car company or something. Yeah. And so people pay an extra $15,000 to get the Audi just because of the badging. Really, the car's now all the same. Genesis is fine. But I'm like, all right, if the car's the same, the Genesis is sweet. And so my friend, Matt, says, they do an all-electric, like GV70 or something. It's a decent size. It's not big. It's not small. It's an SUV. Yeah. It's all electric. It's pretty nice. You should go check it out. So I walk into the showroom. There's a 23-year-old woman of some heritage. I'm not sure what she is. In Glendale, it's a little tough to figure out sometimes. Right. But
not Swedish.
Not Swedish. She's sitting there. Her desk is 4.5 feet away from the only car that's parked in the showroom, which is a big, full-scale, beautiful, black SUV. And I come walking in, and I go, I'm looking for the all-electric plug-in GV70 you guys have, Genesis has? And she goes, you're looking at it? And I go, oh, wow, it's so big. I thought it would be like a smaller, all-electric kind of pop box, cap gun kind of thing. She goes, there it is. And I go, wow, it's big. It's so luxurious looking. And this is really nice. And I start like looking around, and I'm like, where's the plug? And she goes, that's a GV90. That's all gas. I go, it's 4 feet from your desk. You sit in front of this thing for hours on a day. I got totally Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
You watch Defending Your Life.
It's Mercedes leather.
No, it was the BMW dealership where he'd been waiting for his car to come in.
Yeah. He always has the car thing. It's I think it's lost. Keep going. I know.
It's a BMW dealer. He'd ordered himself a black BMW months ago. It's finally coming in, like on his birthday. He's going to celebrate. It's at the beginning of the movie. The car salesman guy, which is the guy I'm talking about from your slick guy, walks him out, points across the parking lot at a huge black 7 Series and goes, there it is. And he's like, oh my God, it's so much bigger than I thought. And he's like, yeah, look at it. It's beautiful. He's like, beautiful. And then the 7 Series pulls away and he's got his little runty 3 Series there. And he's like, oh no, yeah, that's your car. And he goes, don't ever do that.
Don't ever do that. What is the movie? There's another movie. I don't know. I guess it's lost. I don't know if it's lost.
That's Lost in America.
Where it goes. Is this leather? Well, it's a Mercedes leather.
Hans.
Yeah,
That's him doing
it's
the
him
voice.
doing Hans. That's what I was going to say.
I know, it's so great.
Tell you what, if you buy the car, I'll put some shoes in there.
So first things first.
Let me interrupt that
Yes.
since we've taken a little side. I wrote down something that I wanted to say because it involves both our topics. I'll clean it up for you. Just a fun aside. My brother Kevin, I'm talking to my brother Kevin once, and he says, so I'm boning this fat chick. And we're done, and I don't know what to say. So I go, they're going to tow your car, you know.
And he's fucking her in the car.
Oh, I got to get out of here.
I got to tell our bed, you know. So I go, I'm reeling because she sits in
4
a
feet from it.
miniature showroom with only one car in it. It's the fully loaded flagship GS90 or whatever it is, and her desk is 4 feet away from it, and that's where she sits. And she pointed right at it and said, "There's your all electric."
She had to just not have been listening, right?
I don't know. And then later on, she does bring around the GV70, whatever. It's of course quite a bit smaller,
Sure.
but it's nice and it's plug-in and it's good and it's not too expensive and everything's good. And then I go, so what colors does it come in? And she goes, it's the silver. And I said, but other this car's silver, but there's other. You could get it white. Like no, I think just the silver. Oh, and black. The Raiders fan, you know. And I go. So it's just silver and black. You couldn't get one in red or white, like I would like a white car. No, just I don't know. Let me check. She checks on the.
Is it your first day here?
She went on the site and she was like, no, just the silver and the black. And I go, yeah, but those are the ones. You have 4, right? Yeah, the 3 silver, 1 black, right? But that's what you have. But you could get one in a different color, right? No, just these. I'm like, that just can't be right. And she's like, yeah, it is. And then she calls over a guy, and he's like, yeah, that's what it is. And then of course I go home and go online and see a video on it. And it comes in cinnamon and olive drab and like 15 different colors. I don't know, but that's where we're at now.
Are you sure she worked?
But it's one of those things like he's gone, and then it's like a Pie-Gow poker thing in the back. It's just a front.
Close one.
Yeah, it's a bunch of women in their underpants laundering money, ironing dollar bills and underwear, smoking with high heels.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. Ironing money. Yeah, he wanted a car. Yeah, he wanted to buy a car. That's insane.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Laotian women in their underpants. There's a fan, an oscillating sort of industrial oscillating. They're all smoking, and there's a guy cleaning blue dye off of money, and they're ironing it. That's what's going on. I smelled cigarette smoke.
You told him we only had 2 colors, right?
Yeah, I did the whole thing. I pointed to the wrong car, and he still was asking.
All right, get back in your underpants and fire that iron up. Let's go.
Now, when you go to buy a car, and the guy traditionally, the guy goes, "All right, well, let me run it. Let me go back to my sales manager and tell him your offer." Do you ever want to go like, "Stop? I know what you're doing.
Right.
You're going to go back, look at your watch, come back out in 2 minutes, and go, I can't."
Yeah, right.
I know there's no one back there.
You're going to watch these chicks iron $5 bills for 4 minutes.
It is a weird game. This guy... It's like a lap dance. It's like, look, I know you don't want to sit on my lap, but I'm going to give you money and you're going to do... I imagine, I've never had one. But I imagine it's the same thing as we both know what's happening here. We both know how this works.
I really don't know how dealers work anymore because back in the day, you'd just get one of your friends' dads who knew this shit, knew cars and stuff, and he'd just go in there and beat them up.
Right.
Go in there and beat them up. But then we got into this like online pricing and upfront pricing and all these CarMaxes and Tesla and stuff. Where you just order and it's just like ordering food or ordering a sofa. That's the price.
What I've never driven one. I've never owned one. But what I did like about the idea of the Saturn is this is what it costs.
They were the first company that went no haggling. This is the price.
I like that.
But you don't haggle for lawn furniture. It's like, why so much haggling for cars?
And I don't like haggle anyway.
I'm in that mode. I'm in the mode where I think this is just the sticker price is the sticker price because it's 2023. I haven't been in a dealership in a long. So I go, all right, 15,000 mile lease, 0 down, $5,000 down, $10,000 down, 15,000 miles. Give me the monthly payment on there, and she does. It's like $1,000, $1,200, $1,350 or whatever. And I go, okay, this is good. You're the first place. I've stopped. I got to give my daughter a car back or something in 2 months or whatever. I'm just kind of kicking tires. But thanks. I got your card. I got your paper. She goes, hold on. Let me get my manager. And a guy shows up, and he goes, I'm the manager. I go, okay, thanks. I got the info.
Yeah, they're not going to let you walk out of there without a car.
He goes, listen, I'll do something stupid. I go, oh, you will? And he goes,
and then he lights himself on fire.
I'll do something dumb right here. Yeah.
You are not joking. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Yeah. And like a yogi protesting the Vietnam War.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes, I'll do something.
He didn't lie.
Dumb. And I was like, oh, dumber than not knowing what the car is in your showroom? I mean, what kind of dumb are we talking about? That's maniacal dumb. So he's like, I'll do something stupid right now. And I was like, oh, man. But I'm 2 months away from this thing. But I'm like, noted. You'll do something dumb when I come back in 3 weeks. So I will.
I'll
count on a very overt display of stupidity, as it involves this lease.
And again, I love that. That's all a part of the just weird social contract of when you go into a car dealership.
Yeah,
they can't let you walk out of there.
No. No.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Oh, here's a weird thing about Sweden and cars. We were there during midsummer. No one murdered. The darkest it got at midnight was like 6:30 here, 7 o'clock here. Like I'll show you a photo of it.
We had that in Alaska. Like it would.
Yeah.
Dark for like an hour.
This it didn't even get dick pic. But anyway, it didn't get dark, and this is midsummer, so everybody has their vintage cars out, and it was just I was like, look at that, these gorgeous cars. But I wouldn't think of Sweden as a place with gorgeous cars because half the year it's winter and it's horrible and it's freezing and it gets light from 10 to 2.
Right.
And then it's dark. And the guy goes, yeah, during the winter, all of these people, they have nothing to do. so they refurbish their cars.
Oh.
Everybody has a garage, and they just spend their time. And this was the weekend. There's like the one weekend a year these cars get to go out and play. And we were just, it was amazing. It was like Leno heaven. It's just this like crazy vintage cars driving, pristine 57 Chevy going down the road.
A lot of American stuff?
All American stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was totally surprised at this. Geographically, topographically, it looked like where I grew up. It looked like the middle of Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just like the same tree, fauna, and flora, and the lake. Like, yeah, it looked like Massachusetts.
IKEA furniture.
Yeah, just everything a little. Yes, everything. There are IKEAs there, but everything was just a little bigger, a little nicer, a little more in terms of the nature of it. But yeah, it didn't look like a foreign like. It absolutely looked like just a beautiful place.
Pumped on that. The tourism board for Sweden. It's like, yeah, it just looks like where I grew up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
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 Come for the institutional racism. Stay for the institutional racism.
Well, now you reminded me of that story. Reminded me of when I bought my Aston Martin with the V12 in it for $165,000 20 years ago. 17, 19 years ago, or whatever, when the guy was describing.
Now, is that because you're a Bond fan, or because you just knew about the Aston Martin?
I just loved it, and I just said, I'm getting myself
What year?
a new. It was like a 04, 05.
Okay.
And the guy bought it from goes, the dealer guy, this is back to your Sweden, it's just like, Lowell, Massachusetts or something, right?
Look like Lowell.
So I was like, and what? Let's talk about this fire-breathing V12 that's under his car. And he goes, well, it's really just two Ford Duratec V6s put together. And I was like, thanks.
Don't say that.
Don't say the fucking one that's in my mom's Ford Cortina or whatever. Don't take two engines from cars that cost $28,000
and say RAV4 outside, same thing.
Does that even work?
He was basically trying to say it's the displacement of and the architecture of or whatever, but he just said two Ford V6 engines put together to get a V12, and I was like,
That's 12:30 at night.
Wow, I'm looking at a picture of Dana's cock.
That's my cock. That's my cock last night at 12:30. What do you think?
Oh, piano magnificent. I know how you scored that tall Swedish drink of water.
Velvety, huh?
Here's off topic, but I think Dana's uniquely qualified to answer this. I was talking to Dr. Drew about this. It's a scourge with younger people when you get to be old like me and Dana, and you talk to younger people or you date them or whatever. You'll find that they look at their phone a lot.
Yeah.
You're talking to them. You're in the car, you're driving, you're talking to them. They're just, and they're just staring at their phone. Sure. And then you go out to dinner with them, and they're look, my kids, they're just staring at their phone. And, and my new policy is I'll go like, look, I'm not trying to be a douche, but I'll stop talking until you're done, and then when you're done, we'll have a conversation. They get a little persnippety, like, I heard what you said.
I could do both.
They always repeat the last three words. Listen, someone has been destroyed in a horrible motorcycle accident can repeat the last three words the paramedic said while he was loading them into a fucking helicopter, right? Like you can parrot back the last three words. I get it. That doesn't mean you're listening or we're having a conversation. And I said to Drew, they don't look at this as rude. I'm looking at my phone. And I said, but it's the equivalent to Dana and I going out to dinner, and Dana starts talking back in the day of me just pulling a book out, holding it in front of my face. I'm going to fluff up the sports page, and I'm going to just stare at the box scores with the Dodgers. And you just keep talking. It's fine. I'll lower it. I can see you.
In the same way that in our generation, people would flick a cigarette on the ground, but that wouldn't be litter.
Right.
Like, you'd never throw an empty can of soda on the ground,
right? But
you'll just drop your butt and stench it out. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's so... because you need to do this thing so much that you rewrite the rules for yourself.
Right. And the soda can gets picked up by a hobo and thrown into his shopping cart. The butt, that'll be there for years. But I'll tell you this. One thing I learned from watching action movies in the early 90s, you flick a cigarette in slow motion, something always blows up.
That's right. That you have to run away from.
You could be standing on a dock and flick it in slow motion, and the ocean would catch on fire.
We had a run of that on The Simpsons, where anything that would get run away would burst into flames.
Oh yeah,
we had like a shopping cart hit a tree.
Oh yeah, I was delighted by that.
We were. I didn't know this. My wife is a whiskey expert. She works for a whiskey company.
Wow.
And in Raiders of the Lost Ark, like, whiskey is not that flammable.
Right.
It's not like a bottle of gasoline that you can light on fire and throw at somebody. I always assumed, it must be like completely. No, you can't really just light it on fire.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that just became lore because of movies. All right.
Did you, have you, I know we got to go, but have you seen Indiana Jones 5?
I have.
I loved it.
I loved it.
I took two of my daughters, 14 and 19, women, and they were all excited that day because Taylor Swift's version of an old album was coming out.
Right.
Speak Now, I believe.
Right. She lost the rights to Scooter, whoever.
It's pretty great what she's doing.
Yeah.
But
she's not. There's a part of that story she leaves out, which is her dad was approached to buy it like on several occasions.
Oh, and she screws the original producers out of a fortune. And there's a downside to it. Long story longer. To my astonishment, my kids loved it.
I loved it too.
The 14-year-old girl loved it.
And I was thinking,
good on you.
Why was I loving it so much? And it was very analog. It was like World War II, horses, leather.
And he's great.
He's great. It's a great film. And I've realized I've been watching way too many sort of Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff where everything is a CGI and just computer generated.
There's not one shot perpendicular to the ground. Everything is Dutch lens. And, Yeah, no, it was great. There is nothing a movie called Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny should have in it that this movie doesn't have in it.
Yes.
It's like, what do you not, for people that don't like it, what did you think this movie was going to have?
Right. Yeah, it's great. I thought it was great.
Yeah, me too.
All right, take a quick break. We got Huell's Jewels coming your way, and some of the best of Huell Howser. Play a couple clips to catch you up.
Best in quotes.
Oh, yeah. We'll do that right after this. Let me tell you about Lear Capital, in business since 1997 in Southern California. So it's a local company, and I know them. $3 billion in transactions, 90,000 plus satisfied customers, experts in buying and selling physical gold and silver. My passion, vintage racing. Their passion, precious metals. And we got a lot in common. They're both good investments, and it's good to diversify your portfolio. They both are rare, and they hold significant value, and they're timeless and beautiful. You can touch them, unlike a number on a spreadsheet. Lear Capital can help you diversify your portfolio. Just go to @learadam.com or give them a call at their dedicated phone number, 800-489-6450. Why gold? Why now? Well, you know me. I like working with my hands, and I like things I can touch and hold in my hands, like vintage cars and old tools and cash. So go to learadam.com or give them a call at their dedicated phone number, 800-489-6450. That's LEAR Adam.com or give them a call, 800-489-6450. Let me tell you about Shopify. Selling a great product on a garbage platform is like doing stand-up with no mic. Reach your business's audience like never before with Shopify, the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're a garage entrepreneur or IPO ready, Shopify is the only tool you need to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify puts you in control of every sales channel. Whether you're selling satin sheets from Shopify's in-person POS system or offering organic olive oil on Shopify's all-in-one commerce platform. I sell merch, books, beer, wine, all with Shopify, and I know how important it is to have a good commerce platform. Shopify's award-winning help is there to support you and your success every step of the way. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Right, Dawson?
Sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/Carolla, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Carolla to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/Carolla. Dana Gould is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Such funny stand-up from Dana Gould. Dana wasn't wearing his headphones, so he missed a lot of it. But
I know that
he
bit.
knows the bit.
Speaking of Nazis,
you know the bit. Yes,
that was on topic.
Yeah, it was, because we're just talking.
Yeah. Well, I was just
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I was just saying that in Kat's, my wife's uncle said he watched that in Sweden, said, they took cyanide capsules.
Yeah,
he didn't kill himself. And then I read, nope. Eva Braun took a cyanide capsule. Hitler popped a capsule and then blew his brains out. Right. But if they both took cyanide capsules, it would have been funny where they're like, no, you go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. No,
right.
German stand.
Yeah. And they would have started like, seriously, you two will be supposed to answer me. So you're kidding.
Right.
I'm going to kill you. No, I'm saying you kill you and I'll kill me. But let's really do it.
Yeah.
Hitler becomes NoHo Hank from Barry.
Oh, yeah.
So we were talking about the great Huell Howser. For the uninitiated, he was a big man. He roamed the terrain of Southern California for years, doing mini exposés on things that nobody had any interest in.
Mm-hmm. And he had that big house in Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And oddly, the man lived in Palm Springs. I don't understand it. But that was for sale. And like everybody, when that house went up for sale, sent me the Zillow. Like, Huell Howser. Like, I don't.
You have to get this.
But
now.
it's like, what a weird house to be. Boo! I'm a ghost.
I didn't think about you.
I'm going to open your cupboard tonight.
Yeah. And Huell would be, I've always said this, like whenever a house is haunted, it's she's a little girl and she lost her dolly and she's dressed like the Dutch boy or something. And you're like, what is scary about this? What would be scary about this person in real life? And the answer is nothing. So why is this
so
scary?
Why are you scared now?
I would say like a gay longshoreman. That's not a guy you want wandering your halls at night, right?
He can do damage.
He's drunk. He's gay.
This isn't ectoplasm. It's rectoplasm.
So Huell, I have to play the Baghdad Cafe one because him talking to the guy about Burt Lancaster just always is. Do we have that one? Is that the top one?
Yeah, you can
is that the potato chip?
Yeah, number one, him going to the Baghdad Cafe, which is I don't know, somewhere, I don't know.
Newberry Springs.
Route
66.
The man could wear some cargo shorts.
I know.
Let's just say that right out of the gate.
Most guys cannot tuck in an Izod shirt into cargo shorts and pull it off with a tight belt.
Tucking a shirt into shorts is a bold.
It's a bold statement.
Yeah, one of the things apropos of nothing, when I was on The Simpsons, I would often collect things that people said during the writing process. And things would get heated. Mm-hmm. And people would say in utter seriousness that when you'd step back would be somewhat ridiculous. And one day George Meyer said, like really angry, "Look, nobody wants cargo shorts in this punchline more than me, okay?"
Oh, I guess we should go to the third one. That's where he interviews the manager. This is my favorite 55 seconds of all time.
They've got a nice booth set up here. They've got a painting of, it looks like Burt Lancaster up on the wall.
He hasn't
I'm not sure
pulled a permit or checked with the manager. He's running and gunning.
Just about the history of
walked in with the film
Baghdad
crew.
Cafe. What's your name? Hello. Huell Howser from PBS.
He's behind the counter.
Huell Howser from PBS.
What's your name?
Yeah.
There's a guy on the phone, and by the way, just pause it. Just behind the kitchen, there are a bunch of women in underpants ironing money with an oscillating fan, and this guy's freaked the fuck out.
Also, I didn't notice this. He's shook the guy. He comes behind the counter. It's very in your space. He goes behind the counter. The guy's calling his boss to get permission for this guy that just walked in with a cameraman. Huell shakes his hand, and he's not letting go of the guy's hand.
I think he does the pressure and the sort of the slight pull in, which is in the animal kingdom, you're asserting your dominance.
Yeah.
Huell's never broken a handshake.
The first thing Huell does when he meets you is assigns you a safe word. Your safe word is milk.
Well, why
do I need it?
I discussed, God bless the late, great Jimmy's Uncle Frank.
But
everyone loved Uncle Frank. But Uncle Frank would corner you at a party and talk to you for 7 hours about why Jimmy should be taking over the unofficial role as mayor of Hollywood and how this would be such a good thing. He's pitched it to Jimmy 5 times. Jimmy wants none of it. Now he wants me to pitch it to Jimmy. But Frank had this habit, and it was born of necessity. He would clamp onto your upper arm.
Yes.
So when he spoke to you, he grabbed your upper arm and he hung on to it with a huge hand. And what had happened is he'd had so many experiences of people wandering away from a conversation
on hour 4.
Out of necessity, he figured out I need to go full Denver boot on their fucking bicep, and he would hang on to it. And I think Huell worked that too. It's like so many people go, you can't, who's the camera? You can't come behind the counter. Sorry, we're not open. He figured out if I just grab onto their hand with my giant mitt, never let go.
And it's all, and it's really fast. It's sort of like it's full circle to the car dealership. Is these little social rules that we have that people violate, and then like, at what point do you say something? It's like you.
Most people
encroaching.
Don't. They think they would,
and they keep encroaching.
Listen, I've been in bathrooms with my buddy Ray in high school and watched him piss on a stranger. Like literally just turn from the urinal and piss on the dude's leg, and the dude looked down, looked at Ray, and he just went, "Dude." And that's all he said.
Yeah.
Like you think, you piss on a dude, you're going to fucking get a knuckle sandwich. He didn't know what to do. He just said, "Dude." That's all we got. Ray's a little bigger.
Fun Hollywood story. Right when Alfie comes out, the movie Alfie, Michael Caine is in Hollywood. And he meets John Wayne in the toilet at Dan Tanner's or someplace.
Oh, what's it all about?
Yeah,
Alfie?
yeah. That was the movie. That was the movie that made Michael Caine a star.
Okay.
And so he's in Hollywood. He's the new star, and he goes to Hollywood. He's in Dan Tanner's or someplace, and he's in the toilet, and he sees John Wayne, and they're both at the urinal. And John Wayne says, "Don't wear." And Michael Caine apparently is wearing suede shoes. And he goes, "Don't wear suede shoes anymore." And he goes, "What's that?" Because people are going to be pissing and they're going to see you and they're going to turn and they go, "Hey, you're that guy in that movie," and they're going to piss all over your shoes.
Wow.
Yeah, like John, it's like, oh yeah, I guess so. I had a guy once at a urinal taking a piss and he recognized me and went to shake hands, took his hand off his dick to shake my hand, like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "We don't have to shake hands right now."
So
I'm glad you're a fan.
Huell's made his way behind the counter without asking for permission.
And that's Denver Pyle, apparently, from the Dukes of Hazzard, sitting at the counter.
That's General Bob, the regular.
Yes, and this guy's on the phone with his manager, who's really just 20 feet behind him in the smoke room, ironing bills with the latest women in their underpants. But he has to pretend like he's telling him to fucking get this behemoth out of here. But here, go ahead.
Yeah.
Look at the hand.
Still the hand.
I didn't either. They just showed up.
Yeah, we're catching everybody off guard.
Are you in town or?
Still shaking it.
Okay, well.
All right.
Let
his hand go.
It's crazy. He still got it.
That's considered assault in today's world.
We're on right now.
Still hanging on.
We're on right now.
We're burning up tape. We need to get this interview going here.
Okay.
So suddenly it's the guy's fault.
Yeah.
You want to talk about chutzpah? He just kicks in the front door with Louie and a fucking Betamax, and it's like, hey, I'm on a schedule here.
Yeah, it's the guy. Suddenly it's the guy. Hey, we're burning up tight. Well, one, when have you ever been concerned about wasting footage?
Right. All right, I need the one where he gets back to the photo of Burt Lancaster.
Why would he be so obsessed with Burt Lancaster?
I think
That's
that's
the
5.
mystery.
5. It's because we have on phone with owner.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
I'm
I would
gonna
write
come
Burt
back.
Lancaster in the description myself. But all right, he's on phone with the owner. Here he
Ask
is.
your manager if I can go back and touch all the food.
The owner, Andre?
Howdy, how you doing? Well, we're just doing an interview here, finding out about the Baghdad Cafe.
Yeah. See, Huell, there's something you're on right now. It's called a fucking phone. Your
I know,
segment
is there
producer could have
Is that
called.
picture in there of Burt Lancaster?
Oh, it's the best.
Why is there, let's stand in here, let me get this
That's
and I'll
the
relay
best.
it to our viewers. Why is there a portrait of Burt Lancaster in here on the wall of the
No one
Baghdad Cafe?
in that writer's room at Simpsons is capable of this comment.
No, you're right. It's too good.
Oh, you
Not to-
just bought it.
it's
He's
like too
never
weird-
actually
too
been
weird to be
here.
real.
All right, now we got to
Burt
go.
Lancaster's never been here.
All right, go back 20 seconds. We stepped on it, but there it is.
I know. Is that picture in there of Burt Lancaster? Why is there? Let's stand in here. Let me get this, and I'll relay it to our viewers. Why is there a portrait of Burt Lancaster in here on the wall of the Baghdad Cafe? Oh, you just bought it. He's never actually been here. Burt Lancaster's never been here. They just hung it up. Well, it looks good.
Blew the lid off of that. Woo! Yeah.
Welcome to Lancaster Cast. All you need to know about Burt. But the other thing you realize about Huell, he's built like a brick crap
Shit,
house.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he would kill you. He was a Marine, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have the one with the old man.
How did he die?
Licking the rocks.
He clearly was healthy.
I don't know. He wasn't old. He then goes down the road to interview a crazy old skeleton man.
Yeah. He looks like Jack Skellington. Is this on the way to Palm Springs, or where are we?
It's on the way to Vegas.
Okay, got it.
To a crazed man living in squalor.
Yes.
Like, you know when you're driving down the 15 and you're going to Vegas and at some point you pass a bunch of like beat up houses in a mobile home or something and you go, who the fuck lives there?
how can
Like,
they live
This guy looks like the guy that Michael Palin used to dress up at the beginning of Monty Python. He'd just run
Yeah.
out of the woods and go, it's. And then
Yeah.
Monty Python's flying.
I mean, he's a decrepit, crazed old man.
He's 28, by the way. That guy.
collects,
Look at him.
he collects rocks.
Rocks.
But
in
not
the desert.
not geodes or gems. He collects aggregate. He collects the rocks that you put into cement to form concrete.
And literally, if you look at these two, Huell's skeleton is bigger than
Yeah.
this man's whole body.
But Huell's going to talk to him, so here we go.
Tell me about all these rocks.
Eh,
It's rocks that I picked up over a period of years. It's been a few years since I've done it.
Not
Pause it for
much.
1 second.
There's never too
Pause it
much.
for 1 second. In the sense of opposites attract, Huell has met his soulmate.
Yes. Yes.
This is here's the rocks I collected.
Right.
Fascinating. This is a rock I found. It looks almost like a circle, but it's not. And I put it in this box. Can we get a shot of this? like these guys. This is much ado about nothing.
We just interviewed someone over the phone that wasn't mic'd. Now
Yeah.
they don't have a mic for
Yeah.
this guy, and he's just walking away.
But
from
what if
Huell.
this guy also has a painting of Burt Lancaster in his
Oh,
house?
my-
And then it's like Midsummer. It's like this whole secret cult out
How
in the
much
desert.
would you charge? How much would you ask for if someone said, "I want you to spend one night in that house"?
There's
Just
not
one sleepover.
There's not enough.
Like you're like the La Bianca house isn't
Yeah, yeah,
available. There's not enough money.
It's like, did you ever see Brothers Keeper?
No, I didn't see that.
Well,
Okay.
that's what's going on.
This is what I love about Huell. Though. He never pulls the ripcord and gets out. Like he's
Yeah.
like, we have to keep going.
He's really these sort of...
That guy comes into your room late at night and goes, "You can scream if you want. It's fine.
I actually enjoy it." Yeah, you know what
The
he
only
is?
thing you'll disturb is the ravens.
He's kind of a... He's kind of a modern day, he's a living embodiment of like the Gomer Pyle character, who would like remember the 60s sitcoms. There'd be like a Gomer Pyle type guy, and there'd be some biker gang, and they were like robbing a liquor store, and he'd come walking in and go, "Oh, Shazam! Are you guys going to a costume party?"
Oh, you're talking about Huell.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I'm saying
the other guy.
no, I'm talking about Huell. What I'm saying
because the other guy's Ernest T. Bass.
Yes.
Like Slender Man's grandfather.
And then remember those like sitcoms where like someone would be robbing a liquor store and he'd go, "Oh, you got a plastic gun? Let me see it." And he'd pull it out of the guy's hand, and the robber was like confused, like, "Ooh." And everyone else was scared shitless, but he didn't know.
They do that on the Munsters all the time.
Right. They do that on the Munsters.
Yeah.
Right. That's what he does.
Yeah, he's
right.
He just everyone's ducking under the
walks.
barrel.
He finds the craziest, scariest old guy's house that no child would even dare to look at, and he's just strolling right in the front door. What do we got here? All right, so now
Bruce Campbell used to do the most hilarious story. Like the poor actors that would get like a day part on the Munsters, and you think it's going to be a breeze, and then the director comes up. "Okay, this is really easy. It's really easy. You're in the room with Marilyn. You open the door and there's Herman. So you run across the room, jump out the window, you fall face first down this ladder, dig a hole in the yard, and then you come up through the sewer and you run down the street. It's fine. We're going to undercrank it so it'll look real fast. Okay, you ready?"
There we go. All right, here's Huell.
Oh, look.
More rocks.
Look at these.
Look at these
Wow,
those
this
missing
is
girls.
amazing. You've got coffee cans full of rocks over here. You've got little rocks, big rocks. Look at this one.
That's a medium-sized one. That's a medium-sized one, Huell. I mean, look, when this guy, first off, this guy's obviously gone by now. He died later on that evening.
You just see Huell pick up a rock as the guy walks away from it, and then just cut to Huell licking his fingers like, he must have got barbecue after the guy left.
Now, here's how little value any of this has, much less be chronicled. When this guy died, his kids and the neighbors agreed that the property should just be bulldozed.
Yeah.
They were not going to go sift through the pile of rocks.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
And all the panels of the missing kids from the milk boxes that he had collected over the years. They've just bulldozed the place, right? Yeah. They did what they did in Forrest Gump's girlfriend's house or whatever, right?
You don't want to know what's under that house or in that backyard.
No, there's zero anything of value. This guy, in terms of what he could bequeath to his son, this old guy, when he passes out, he's rivaled only by the great Jim Carolla in terms of value of things that could be left behind. That's really his only competition. I will get the trumpet back that I purchased for my dad. That'll be the win.
Yeah, they bulldozed this guy, and then they brought in a cadaver dog, and it just exploded.
Yeah,
it's just too much input.
The cadaver dog's in therapy right now.
The dog crashed.
Yeah,
it's just overload.
All right, and as he licked the rock,
clip it, guys.
Let me show you some things here.
He took a rock and licked it hard.
The colors? I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Here, look at this.
Don't look at
Oh, that's beautiful. What is this?
That has a little bit of turquoise in
That's
it.
broken glass, Huell.
So this
He licked.
See?
what are you licking the rocks?
Well, actually, it's not a good idea unless you know what you're doing, because there are some that are poisonous. But it's known as an agate liquor.
Can't say that anymore.
That tongue do anything else, old timer?
I noticed you licked the rock. Turn the camera off.
Jesus Christ. How dead is this guy?
Yeah. And you go in the guy's house, and there's just like 6 UPS men. Call the police.
Right. All right.
Who's the president now? Is Nixon still in the White House?
We got some new Huell. Where's our new Huell stuff? Did I pull it down? Oh, here it is.
And the bakery one is also one of the greats.
The bakery's great. The rock licking, Burt Lancaster, going into the coin-op laundry.
The laundry thing is amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And the laundry. One thing that used to be when I had to go to the laundromat when I first moved here, I didn't have laundry. They would always play the worst music, and it's like whatever not K Earth 101, but it was just like this soft jazz awful thing.
They're trying to keep you moving.
But it's like I'm depressed enough. I'm in the laundromat.
Yeah.
Can we play something happy? It's like when iPhoto sends you like your portraits from 2017. You just get the thing and you play it. It's always this sad music, like
sentimental.
Yeah, it's like music they play in the waiting room of the nursing home. It's like, can this be happy music? What about the B-52s? Let's play. Can I be happy for a minute?
I have like some semi-fond memories of the coin-op when I was poor, renting houses with dudes and didn't have a laundry, whatever. I kind of like the smell of it. B, I like that those fiberglass chairs were much more comfortable than they should have been. And for chairs with no nap, no padding, no foam, just a shell, should have slid back into them and felt okay. And then I would always go, and I'd go, you're going to be here for 3 hours.
That's right.
And I would bring notebooks, and I'd just write sketches the whole time.
That is the great thing.
You got a lot done in a laundromat back then.
Well, here, it's that nobody wants anything to do with you when you're at the laundromat.
Right.
So you get
solitude.
That's free time. I don't want to. One of my many money sinkholes that I have is my little YouTube show, Hanging with Dr. Z, which is, as everyone knows, it's the Planet of the Apes talk show that America has been demanding.
Yes.
It's fantastic, and he has incredible guests on it.
2.5 hours in the makeup whenever I do it.
Wow.
And I can only sit there. I can't help you. I can't move. I can't talk.
Right.
I have to sit there. And people go, isn't that a drag? I'm like, I love it.
I know.
Because I'm just like, just 2.5 hours. Leave me alone.
I
meditative.
started to realize I about 4.5 years ago, I had a sad realization that I started looking forward to long cross-country flights.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, because I get to just sit here.
Yeah, and it's the only time I get to here's what's bad about streaming and what's great about flights. Like, you go into a bookstore, you go into a record store, you go into a video store, you look at things that have not been curated for you. It's like, if you watch James Bond, then you'll look at next time you go into your TV, it'll be all sorts of Jason Statham movies. It's like, oh, you like this, so we're going to give you this. You go on the plane, it's just, these are the movies that we have. And you will discover a movie that you normally would never know about. And it's great. I saw a terrific movie on the plane that I would have never known about called Old Henry with Tim Blake Nelson. It's a Western, and it's fantastic. And I would have never thought about it. I would have never seen it.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
It was basically the equivalent of all you kids downloading all your music one song at a time. You'll never experience the relationship that we had with the fourth cut on the B-side of the album, the old Police first album, or the Pretenders or something, where that song was for you.
Yeah.
Never got played on
it.
the radio. All right, we have, actually, do we have Chuck Heston from the most depressing monologue, Ben? Because you brought up Planet of the Apes, and I knew you were coming in here, and I knew you loved this clip of...
What did Chuck do?
Chuck Heston from the first Planet of the Apes giving a pep talk to his crew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I could talk about this for hours.
I know you could. That's why I brought it up. This is them landing on a desert planet, and Chuck is the leader of the crew.
Right. And as such, is responsible for morale.
And they've got to be, they have to be a little long in the face at this point because crew members have died. They have no way of getting back to Earth.
Right.
And Chuck, at this point, should be saying, look, I got a plan. Someone get me a stick. I'm going to draw it in the dirt. But instead, he delivers this speech.
I've told you where you are and when you are.
All right, all right.
You're 300 light years from your precious planet. Your loved ones are dead and forgotten for 20 centuries. 20 centuries! Even if you could get back, they'd think you were something that fell out of a tree.
Oh, Taylor, quit riding him.
There is just one reality left. We are here and it is now. You get hold of that and hang on to it, or you might as well be dead.
I'm prepared to die.
He's...
All right, anyway. You want to look for water?
Also, and in the movie, the next thing they do is they go over, they're in the middle of the desert. You know, it's just barren landscape, nothing. And he goes, hey, look! And they find a little plant, like a dandelion plant.
Right.
He grabs it, pulls it out of the ground. As far as he knows, it's the only plant on the planet.
Right.
He yanks it out of the dirt. Hey, look at that. It's mine now.
It's a great movie.
The other crazy line, and I mean, there's so many crazy lines, is, you know who should have on is Lou Wagner, who plays Lucius, the teenage ape at the end.
Oh, really?
He's a friend of mine. He's still around. He's incredibly sharp as a tack. He was in an improv group with Fred Willard up until Lou's great. And like I was talking to Lou one day. I live up in Laurel Canyon, and I said, and he's like, oh yeah, I lived up there I was Wonderland. I was like right up the street the night of the murders. It's like this guy has so many amazing stories.
Yeah.
But there's a lot.
John Holmes stuff. Yeah.
He beat people to death with his boner.
Right.
In Planet of the Apes, there's a scene later when he's talking to Nova, which for Charlton Heston is the perfect woman because she can't talk.
Oh.
It's like he finally found a soulmate.
Right.
Someone that she can't say anything.
And it's also, I love Nova, but first off, she's right in my wheelhouse.
Sure.
Because there's a good women style, fashion, and stuff like that. It's like architecture. There's some good years. There's some lean years. You know, I was later on in the 70s, the Dorothy Hamill haircut got popular. I wasn't down with the chicks with the little pixie cuts and stuff like that. But he lands on what essentially is Earth 300 million years in the future or in the past or whatever. They filmed the movie in, September of 1969, and he runs into a woman who's dressed exactly as a woman. She looked like Priscilla Presley would dress in 1969. She looked like every playmate in the 1969 magazine. Like it was, and they do that with like Elvis movies and stuff like that. They figured it out now. Like, hey, folks, this is 1871. You can't have a fucking bouffant.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't wear them that way. But back then, they
didn't care.
Perfect timestamp of 1969.
And he says to her, and he's talking about the female astronaut that died when they crashed. And he goes, did I tell you about Stuart? There was a lovely girl. The most precious cargo we brought along. She was to be the new Eve, with our hot and eager help, of course. That's like, how much do you want to bet she thought she was the botanist? Well, let's crack open the orders on Operation New Eve. I have no idea what this is, but orders are orders.
Well, now you're reminding me of something because everything reminds me of
First
something.
thing he does is kill the black astronaut. Let's get this out of the way.
That's right.
I'm not doing sloppy seconds to you.
She didn't think she was going to Neptune to pull a train. She thought she was going to study soil, right?
Who wants to tell her?
I don't know why this got me thinking about this, but I was talking to a porn star, and I was like, I got to ask a question. Do you have any say in what category you get filed under? And she's like, no, I got MILF. And I was 36, like I didn't even feel like I'm old, why did I get the MILF? And they're like, they decide. And I'm like, there's got to be a lot of chicks who think they're in the busty and beautiful subheading, and they get put in the plumpers. Plumpers. That's got to be devastating because it's the ultimate judge, jury, and execution, right? You don't decide. You shoot a porn film. In your mind, this is going in the bosom category.
Yeah.
But the guy who reviews it goes, got a lot more traction than the plumpers. Like, this a plumper, not a busty. This is a MILF, not a like, That's got to be devastating. And she's like, yeah, it was devastating.
Or the title of the movie, like you do a movie, you do a movie, and you're very excited, like, hey, I'm doing a movie, and then you get the movie, like, jizz tard. Wait a minute, that wasn't the script. It was Encounter in Paris was the title of the script.
We ran with jizz tard. It just came to me.
Focus groups like
I was driving to Reseda, and boom, popped right in my head. Jizz tard. All right, we got Huell at the Watts Towers. We'll play that.
Fearless.
Yeah, well, we have an intro for Huell's Jewels.
Oh, we have Huell's Jewels. Oh, sorry. You know what? Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll do Huell's Jewels right after this. Tommy John. Oh, man. Balls sticking to your thigh right now. Yeah, summer's heating up. It only gets worse. Tommy John, the cooling solution to your sticky situation. When you wear Tommy John, you're so much more comfortable. You do everything better. Dozens of comfort innovations, breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands, and that can help you stay 7 degrees cooler than cotton. Amazing technology. Over 20 million pairs sold and thousands of 5-star reviews. Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. I'm wearing mine right now. Once you get into Tommy John, you will throw away the rest of your... don't throw them away. Use underpants that, when you're washing your car or something. There's a rag to clean the brake dust out of the wheels. It's the best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free. Guaranteed. Right, Dawson?
Shop Tommy John's summer collection and get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/Adam. Save 20% right now at TommyJohn.com/Adam. See site for details.
First, there's the Jordan Harbinger Show. The Jordan Harbinger Show, a different kind of sponsor for this episode, the Jordan Harbinger Show. Well, if you're a fan of fascinating podcasts and interesting people, you should definitely check this one out. There's an episode for everyone, no matter what you're into. Jordan talks with Scott Adams about persuasion in a world where facts don't matter anymore. Man, is he right. Or you go inside the dark world of wildlife trafficking. You'll always find something useful to apply to your own life, like routine changes to boost productivity or slight mindset tweaks to change how you see the world. Jordan's a good guy. We've had him on many times. I know the man well, and he's worth a listen. We enjoy the show, and we know you will too. So you can search the Jordan Harbinger Show. That is HARB as in boy, IN as in Nancy, GER on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Dana Gould in studio talking. Always talking. That's what we love about Dana Gould. So I don't know what you don't have any plugs then, right?
No, I'm doing some stuff in the fall.
He's going to be in Alberta, Canada, coming up in September.
Well, you're holding off till the writer's strike ends.
Well, I'm going back on the road in September, which was always my plan. But in the meantime, if you haven't seen Hanging with Dr. Z, go on over to YouTube and check out Hanging with Dr. Z. And we have the 3rd season coming out as soon as the strikes ended. We are not a guild signatory, but keeping up appearances. Yeah. We're going to hold it off.
Do you know how much longer this is going to go? Do you have any idea?
No.
Yeah.
I think if the actors go out, it'll be quicker. But I think in the fall, there are certain things. The first thing that happens when we go on strike is the producers go, well, we can now force majeure a lot of production deals that we don't want to pay. Mm-hmm. And then, so J.J. Abrams has a $250 trillion deal with Netflix. They can just cancel that because of the strike. And then they get that off the books. And then their financial report looks great for that one quarter.
Right. All right.
And they can give themselves a huge bonus.
Right.
So in the short term, it's a gift to them. And then in the long, so it's all calculate. It's a weird calculation.
All right, we got Huell's Jewels.
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Wasn't that fun?
It's time to take a walk down memory lane.
This is very artsy.
And rediscover Huell's Jewels.
Here to greet us is the main man.
With Dana Gould.
Doing so much to leave a rich heritage for all of us in California to enjoy today.
All right, so we have Huell at the Watts Towers. The Watts Towers is a landmark. They even made a movie that ended up with Denzel Washington in it, I think.
It's weird that Huell is so obsessed with heritage, and yet so many people woke up on his couch going, "What happened last night? I can't remember anything."
And Watchtower's built, I don't know, the 40s or something by Crazy Man. Rebar and broken glass stuck to cement. And I went there on a field trip when I was a kid, so I do remember it well. I went 3 field trips. Let's see, 4 field trips. I did McDonald's. I did the Laurie's seasoning plant in Eagle Rock. And I got a little thing of taco seasoning, a sample of taco seasoning to live with, which is, when you're 9.
That's
just
a day. It's just a day out,
like a mini bike or a unicorn, And then went to Watchtowers, and we also went to the burnt out SLA house that Patty Hearst. They thought Patty Hearst burnt up in. Yeah.
Wow.
We only went there because what you start to realize with this is when I went to like an alternative hippie school when I was like 10. They wanted to go check it out, but they were at work.
Right.
So they went, you know what? This would be a very important cultural experience. Like, 4 guys died. Their bodies are still smoldering underneath the fucking structure. And there's unexploded munitions all around the fucking place. Just be a good place to bring a fucking 10-year-old. Yeah. They got high and wanted to check it out.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Let's walk them through.
The SLA, Simonese Liberation Army, which it doesn't exist. I mean, they made up a word. Who kidnapped Patty Hearst. That house was, you can look it up. It's got to be Watsy, East LA, deep. It was deep kind of Watsy.
Same day, sure.
And it had to be like 1974, 75.
And then hilariously fictionalized in The Enforcer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then it's like this crazy fictitious rebel army, and the guy that tips off Dirty Harry was the same actor that he almost shot at the beginning of the first one. It's
the black guy?
Yeah. It's the same guy. Just come back. I don't care.
And quietly, one of the most racist piece of dialogue ever, because the black guy, when he wants to know if he fired 5 rounds or 6 and he can't even remember, the black guy goes, when he's walking away, he goes, "I gots to know." He doesn't say, "I've got to know."
Yeah.
He says, "I gots to know."
Watch the famous scene in Sudden Impact in the hot dog in the coffee shop. It was like, "What you gonna do, sucker?"
Yeah, they really.
It's like I was alive when this movie came out. Wasn't that
also
great?
You can see Dana's house in the background.
It's exactly true. Yeah.
All right, Huell's going to the Watchtowers.
And we're going to visit what I think is really one of LA's great cultural treasures, the famous Watchtowers of Simon Rodia.
Now, the urban adventure is starting on the corner of 7th and Flower.
That's right.
And is everybody ready to go on this urban adventure?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're all going. We're heading down to get on the blue line right now.
That's right.
Oh,
now
You're going to Watts, people.
It's right here.
Hey, Whitey.
Successfully negotiate the automated ticket dispensing
he's leading
machine.
a crew.
Have you all ridden the blue line before?
Never ever. This is our first maiden.
Well, now the blue line's been operating for a year or 2 here in LA.
I've never
Where
seen
have you
this.
all been?
In the San Fernando Valley. Los Angeles. The other end.
Hold on. Can we stop
Okay.
there? I've been in this fucking shithole of a town for 59 years. I've never been on the blue line. Sorry, Huell. Don't browbeat these fucking women.
The whole point of this town is that you're never on the blue line.
I know. It's been almost open for almost 13 months. We don't go down to Watts that often.
Yeah.
We're from Encina.
Yeah, it looks like a church group. It's like 35 white people in their late 60s, and Huell's just lead. It's an urban adventure. It's like, roll them up. It's like, I can't. I'm walking.
All right, here we go.
This. Have you figured it out yet?
Yes, this is my second time.
Okay, you got to put the bill in right side up.
You got to make sure all the corners are unfolded.
Imagine
It really doesn't.
80-year-old people trying to work
This is
a
fun, but
token
there's
machine.
more to the trip than buying the ticket. We hadn't even gotten on the train yet.
We haven't gotten through the
This is something you'd cut.
Can I say this? Pause it for a second. Philosophically, when am I going to get to that age where I'm like sort of delighted by nothing? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's like, you know, like your mom's friends when you were a kid, and she'd go, Doreen has a dog, and she put a hat on it. It was like so infectiously delighted with mirth and laughter, and I'm like, I hear people pitch me the funniest jokes in the world, and I go, yeah, that's okay, that's an 8.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, you're a comedian, though,
but
you're a comedian. You've had all the joy drilled out of you.
Yeah, I know, but I want to stand in front of a Subway token machine and be delighted.
Yeah, I don't know. If that's my favorite thing about comedians is when you're in the back of the club and another comedian says something funny and you just go, ha! Because you have no laughter left in your soul, but you want to give them gee, no, that was funny. Ah!
Yeah, you can't even authentically laugh.
Yeah, it's you bark. I've never seen this. Huell taking a bunch of old white people to Watts.
All right, let's watch on.
You just cut to him. It was horrible.
Had you ever been on the Blue Line before?
No, been promising myself for ages. I live in San Pedro. I could go over to Long Beach and come downtown in an hour, but you know what we are, dependent on the car still.
What made you come today?
Well, we like what the LA Conservancy does, and they give wonderful lectures. And
you got me in a half
totally
Nelson and dragged me on this godforsaken tub.
In the 37 years I've lived here.
No. Now, are you part of this tour?
Yes, I am.
What do you think about it?
Well, I'm very impressed because I come from Canada and I had heard about LA in not such a nice context. So I'm very impressed. This is very nice.
So you'd been hearing some pretty bad things about us.
Well, yes, what we get in the papers.
Well, you can't believe
pause it for a second. The other thing I'd like to be delighted by, and again, I'm waiting for that age, is also when I was a kid, one of my mom's friends, I would just say mom's friends, because there was women that were that age when I was a kid, at some point put out some snacks and people would go fucking nuts, you know, like they got some Ritz crackers and cut a piece of cheese or something, and it was like, oh, Norma, this is awesome. Like, I'm not delighted by snacks. I don't laugh my ass off over nothing. I just want to get to that age where I can really be delighted.
My mom, who's now fully dementiaed out, but she went through that period where, you know, you drive with her and they just have a running monologue that they say out loud, and it's just like, yep, stop signs.
Yes, read whatever you drive by.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cemetery over there. Carla's daughter works in the new building. Does your brain think you're a radio and you'll get fined if you stop broadcasting?
There's a quota.
Yeah, all my mom and I talked about for the last 5 years of her life was muffins.
Yeah.
She'd found a muffin place and she could never, she always needed an assist from my stepdad. You know, she'd go, oh, there's Benish Bakery. It's on the way. Oh, I think it's off of it. John, where was that? And then he'd have to get sucked into the conversation. And I would never go, I'm never going there. They did a pop. Was it a poppy? John, what do we? Blueberry. Oh yeah, it was a blueberry. We were gonna get the poppy. It's like, what are we talking? We're gonna be dead in 15 minutes. That's what we're talking about.
My dad is 92, and my mom is 88. My mom lives in a nursing home. She's, you know, she's physically and she's like 76 pounds. Like, she's still going. It's alarming. Mm-hmm. And my dad fully drives, drinks, does everything.
Goes to weddings, embarrasses his son.
Yeah.
He does it all.
He goes to visit my mother every day.
Every day?
Every day. Well, not on the weekends. Calls me up. I'm here with your mother. All right, put her on. And people with dementia, they know they don't know. So they try to so how are you? Good, I'm out in California. Oh, and you like it out there.
Right, right.
And then she goes, well, it was good to talk to you again, and I'm going to give you back to Uncle Phil.
Wow.
This is what she called my father that day. And I'm thinking like, oh God, Dad, this is your wife. And she hands him the phone back and he goes, "What'd you think of that?" It's just like, it's not going to get at him. Like, I'm sure like at 3 a.m. he's screaming into a pillow or he just like, you can't get at him anymore. There's so much scar tissue on his heart.
Oh. All right, we'll play some more Huell here.
I am.
What do you think about it?
Well, I'm very impressed because I come from Canada and I had heard about LA in not such a nice context. So I'm very impressed. This is very nice.
So you'd been hearing some pretty bad things about us.
Well, yes, what we get in the papers.
Well, you know you can't believe what you read in the paper.
Have you ladies ever heard of scissoring?
Them, you know, a few thousand miles away.
Right.
So.
Well, we're going to show you a good time in L.A. We're going to show you the real L.A. today.
Yeah, it's rebar covered with broken glass and spackled on cement with a flip-flop. That's the real. That's what we really have to offer is tetanus.
It kind of is.
It kind of is.
It kind of. We might have to give him that one.
Huell gets off the blue line.
Folks, let's get off. Time to get off.
I'm not sure we should get out of this neighborhood, Huell.
Come on, Louie.
Poor Louie.
Poor Louie. What year is this?
Well, we're
96?
91.
91?
We're going to take a walk, I think.
Yeah, because Huell's got, he hasn't gone all gray yet.
We're going to walk over to the old Pacific Electric Watts station, which is still here. So you'll see the connection between the new line and the old Pacific Electric. It's right up here at the end of the platform.
Does this seem like the worst tour ever?
Yes.
Like, shouldn't they be on a zip line over a canopy somewhere or something? I mean, listen, you're talking to the guy who did the Laurie's Seasoning Plant tour.
Sure.
And that's a step up from this.
Yes.
And then we're going to watch a gorilla fight 3 alligators. Okay, now I'm excited.
Now he's talking to
local resident. She's not on the tour, I can tell you that.
Teenage tour guide.
Now, what are you going to tell us today or show us today that's going to enlighten us a little bit about this place?
Well, we're going to tell you about some of the good things, like the art festivals. And we're going to show you the Watts Towers, which a man built by himself, bare hands. It's a beautiful statue.
And tell me what it's like to live here.
It's full of excitement.
Full of excitement, yeah. If you like gunfire after the streetlights come on. Then
and in about a year, this is all going to be on fire.
Yeah, my sister was shot in her
crib. You're a good tour guide so far. You're saying all the right things.
Thank you.
Are you a little nervous about all of this?
I was, but I feel a lot better now.
Why?
I don't know. I feel more relaxed.
Uh-huh. It kind of works its way out after a while.
It does, yeah.
There goes the blue line right there.
Yep, I ride it sometimes.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
Mr. Conversation. He goes, his inability.
This aired. Everyone who's listening, these aren't outtakes.
And his inability to empathize is really, she goes, I was really nervous. And he just like stares at her, says nothing. And he goes, nah, I guess it works its way out. Like, you know what? I would have said, why were you nervous? But it's this lack of curiosity in a young woman.
Yeah,
it's just,
I don't dive there.
150 questions about a Burt Lancaster painting.
Yeah.
But when she gets with a woman of color.
Yeah, a thunderclap of disinterest.
That's right. All right, let's play our. Is this our last one?
Yeah.
At the Watts Towers.
I could have told you what year
Have you
it was
ever
once I saw
seen
her
the Watts Towers before?
No, I haven't, and this is really exciting for me today because I've certainly heard a lot about them, and I teach students that are of African American heritage, and it's wonderful to broaden my outlook. And
now, how long have you lived in Los Angeles?
Watts Towers built by a
I've lived
white
in the
guy.
San Fernando Valley all my life.
Now, see, I want to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah, Italian.
Because you've lived here all your life.
I knew it.
And you see how easy it was to get down here today?
It certainly was, and thanks to the Conservancy, I was very happy to come.
But
Do you feel a little guilty that you've waited this long to get here?
I
What
really
year
do,
was the Watts
because
Towers?
There are a lot of things
I
around
think
Los
the guy
Angeles
started
that I
like
really haven't seen, and
1941 or
people come as
something, and
visitors,
kept
they
going for like
visit,
30
why do
years.
you think we don't get out? Because I think we're all
20s and 30s, Italians are not considered white.
involved in our own things, and we just don't take
What
the
year did
time.
they
He
start?
worked on it from 1921 to 1954.
Yeah, when he's,
Wow.
you know what, when he started that, He's
Don't close the gate on us.
When he started that, he wasn't
wanna
white,
come in
and when he
here.
finished it, he was in our culture.
Yeah. In the movie Ricochet was filmed there with Denzel Washington. They had a fight scene on the Watts Towers.
Oh. And then in about a year, the Rodney King riots. That was 92, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Rodney King was 92. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So good, because if this tour had been planned a year later, I don't know if these honkies would have made it out.
They wouldn't have gone down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was simpler times with Huell. And Huell died in the 60s, I guess.
Yeah, pretty young. Pretty young.
67.
Still pretty young. Never felt.
It was the only thing that was ever cut short, his life.
Yes, his life. No video was ever cut short.
What did he die of? Because he seemed really healthy.
Cancer.
Oh, well, that doesn't discriminate you.
Prostate cancer.
There you go.
Just imagine the jokes we're not saying.
Yes.
Just
close your eyes and imagine all those jokes.
Let's take 71 minutes of silence in honor of the jokes we're not making.
The other thing that I thought you would enjoy, Dana, and I had this thought when I was watching Tombstone with my son.
Great movie.
Yeah, my son likes good movies. And
you love Old Henry.
Old Henry. I'm going to write it down.
Yeah, it's great.
Also, almost the name of a candy bar from our youth.
Mm-hmm. O. Henry.
It's a hit every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You used to get a candy bar named after you if you're good at baseball. Yeah. You'd get like Reggie Jackson had you would get Baby Ruth. I don't know if that's...
Did Pete Rose have a candy bar?
I don't know. No. We're watching the end of the movie, and they do that little epitaph thing where they go like, Doc Holliday lived in blah, 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 and Wyatt Earp. And it was kind of mind-numbing because Wyatt Earp died in Los Angeles in 1929.
Wow.
So it's like Wyatt Earp from the old West days saw World War I come and go, and like airplanes and submarines and a TV set and radio.
Yeah, he saw a TV set.
He saw a TV set because the TV set was from 1927. I don't know if he had a TV set. It could have been like the Carolla.
Coexistent.
But he made it past the invention. Automobiles and, like I said, like World War I.
Yeah.
Like tanks.
He was a cowboy.
He was a cowboy, but the ending of it was weird. The movie's from 1994, and you probably don't remember it, but it went out on a weird-ish note, and I'll just play it for you.
Wyatt Earp died in Los Angeles in 1929. Among the pallbearers at his funeral were early Western movie stars William S. Hart and Tom Mix. Tom Mix wept.
Now, I did a poll around here and asked how many people knew who Tom Mix was, and nobody knew. And then now they don't care that he wept.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of a weird... Now, I get it. It's 1994.
And that's you got Robert Mitchum doing your voiceover.
People and Chuck Heston in this movie is the rancher.
That's right. Chuck Heston is in this movie.
But still a weird... You have an epic film and you just go... Somebody you've never heard of cried.
That is weird.
It's a weird out.
Tom Mix whipped.
Yeah.
That is strange.
Yeah. And of course, I watch it with my 17-year-old son who has no fucking idea who Tom Mix is. Nobody knows who.
Couldn't care less.
No
Why
one
do we care that he wept?
No one who's not Dana Gould and under the age of 70 knows who Tom Mix is.
That you're talking about in
who's that old time, I guess, cowboy.
Silent movie star, yeah. In Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, it's set in 1969. So when you see him in New York, like Don Draper could have been walking past him. Mm-hmm. It was the only thing. Like, I don't see why they still have to put him in the leather jacket and the hat. Like, I don't need that to enjoy the movie. He could just dress like a guy, but they still put him in like his Superman suit when he goes out. But the hilarious Blaine Capatch said, because it was said in 1969, they should have dressed him like Austin Powers. Not funny. Snakes, baby. I hate snakes, baby.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll do some news, and we'll do that right after this. Hey, it's Adam Carolla. Is your vehicle not stopping like it used to, or does it squeal? Does it shake? Does it shimmy? Does it grind when you hit that brake? Well, don't miss the summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Brake Best Select and Import Direct brake pads and rotors are engineered for all driving conditions to restore and improve braking performance. With application-specific friction formulas, noise-canceling shims, and low dusting operation, trust Brake Best and Import Direct to deliver better braking. It's important. It's a safety issue. And right now, you can get 2 bottles of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for only $8. See store for details. Don't take any chances on your next brake repair. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help you find the brake parts and supplies you need to do the job right the first time. So stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com. Let me tell you about Turo Innovative. It's the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want, wherever you want, from a community of local hosts. Browse a huge selection of vehicles for just about any occasion or budget. Book an SUV or a minivan for a family road trip, a pickup truck for some errands, or even test drive an EV. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Find your drive. Forget your boring rental cars at Turo, Turo.com. Viator experiences are what people love most about travel. I mean, God, taking my son fishing in Alaska, that was so amazing. I'll never forget it. Viator, it's a website and app for booking travel experiences like seeing Stonehenge or a walking tour of Rome. Over 300,000 bookable experiences in 190 countries. Millions of real travelers' reviews. So you have the information you need to book the best activities for your trip. With Viator, there's always flexibility and support with free cancellation, payment options, and 24/7 service. So let's get out there and experience life, shall we? Download the Viator app now and use the code Viator10. Get 10% off your first booking. One app, over 300,000 experiences you'll never forget. Do more with Viator. Dana Gould in studio. Yeah, my family was so broke that nobody in the family could even afford Tupperware, except for my grandparents had Tupperware.
Sure.
My mom didn't have Tupperware because she didn't need Tupperware because there were no leftovers. Because in order to create leftovers, you have to create an initial meal. And then these are what's left over from your beautiful lasagna.
Foundation of leftovers.
And then you store that in Tupperware.
Right, yeah.
But if you don't do any cooking, then you don't need it. My dad...
I see.
Opened a can of corn when when we lived with him, dumped it into a pot with no handle, just the nub, the metal nub, because the plastic handle heat cycled enough that it just snapped off at some point. You had to use your shirt to because you didn't have a pot holder. He would just dump a can of corn into a thing and just heat it on the pot with no handle. And then you just say, they put some pasta, some spaghetti sauce out of the jar.
Sure.
So take the jar, wouldn't heat the fucking stuff, it's not cutting up. It's not like Goodfellas where he's got his razor out and he's liquefying his garlic. He'd just slop a little out of the ragu thing, like on top of the generic spaghetti. And there you go. Have one big carb explosion.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Just a big pile of by the way, the corn, he counted as a vegetable. There was no nutritional value.
No, you could have basically been eating like packing popcorn.
Yeah, but he didn't need Tupperware either because there was nothing he cooked. My grandmother had the Tupperware and guarded it with her life.
Sure.
She would not let it out of the house. I would take home my grandfather's goulash in a mayonnaise jar that had been rinsed out. but the lid always had the crust on it from the mayonnaise.
I always like people that are save food and stuff like they were in the Depression, but they were born in 1948. Like,
yeah, my grandparents lived like they lived on an island.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't throw that skate out. You know what I mean? It's like, what? Why? It doesn't fit. We'll use it to chop bamboo. You know, like every package, every box, anything with a lid on it, that has, like if you're on an island, you wouldn't throw away a mayonnaise jar. You'd go, I'll use it to bring water. I'll trap water in it. I'll use it to get water from the stream back to where my fort is or something. That's how they lived.
I was at my wife's grandmother's house and we were eating and she brings out the ketchup from the refrigerator, which is now gray. and I'm looking at my brother-in-law and my wife, and there's this like standoff, like who's gonna say it?
Right.
And then finally because I go like, I don't think that ketchup is good anymore. And she's like, no, and so after a long, and then immediately my mother-in-law, the daughter of the old woman, goes, no, it's fine.
Oh.
Like, you can see generations of.
Right.
And so it went back in the fridge.
Back in the fridge.
Didn't go to the,
Yes.
You could see like a little hand growing out of it, like something was like the DNA helix was reforming into a new life. It was about to achieve its final state.
All I do is every time I call Mike August on a Saturday, I go, where are you, Mike? What are you doing? He goes, I dropped the kids off at soccer camp, and then then we go to volleyball camp, and then there's a thing. Like all he does is shuttle these kids around for all the different camps and events. And
I know
thing.
the feeling.
And I said, Mike, when I was 10, first off, shuttle you around to these events. My dad wouldn't walk out of the fucking house. I had a football. It was a football that I found at the park because the laces had been removed and the bladder was bulging out where the laces were. So you couldn't throw a spiral with it because it was oddly shaped.
Yeah.
It was a fat football. It was almost rounder than it was long, and it was bulging because somebody had thrown it away because the laces were busted and the bladder was bulging. But I'm like, still a football to me. And then I stood in front of my dad's house. I took the cup. I was awarded a cup at a Pop Warner football game. It was my greatest possession, this cup. It was after a bowl game that we played in the Channel Islands, some Channel Islands high school or something, some peewee team. Each team lined up, 45-yard line, the 50-yard line. Everyone just faced each other, and they just went, all right, who's the best defensive player on that team? And they go, number 70, that guy. And I just go, all right. And I got this. They just handed me a little cup. It was the greatest because it was so pure.
Yeah.
They didn't know my name. They didn't know anything about this. Go, that guy made all the tackles, and they gave me a little miniature cup. Looked like one of those things you eat a poached egg in, or a soft-boiled egg. And I had that cup, and I had my football with the bursting bladder. And I stood out in my dad's front yard, and I used the cup as a tee. I set the football on it, and I just kicked it from one side of the yard, turned around, got the ball. But until I busted the cup, until I kicked the cup in half, and then I threw the cup away.
Sure.
That was my childhood.
Things that were just normal behavior for these people today would be, the state would take you out of the home.
Right. Yes.
When I was 1972, I was 8 years old, and I broke my collarbone.
Mm-hmm.
And my father took me to the hospital the minute the game ended. And I had to sit in the kitchen crying.
Right.
Until the game ended. And then he was like, angrily drove me to the hospital.
I know. And so when Dana and I realized that some employee can't make it in today because he's celebrating his half birthday, you have to understand our perspective.
Yeah, that's well put.
It's a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's a different experience. Our lived experience.
Yeah. My brothers and I were regularly driven through the woods in the back of a pickup truck at night by a drunk person.
Yes.
It is like we all know, like, it's crazy. We're all here. It's crazy. No one died. It's really nuts.
All right. News, Maxipata.
Sure. So Larry Nassar's back in the news.
Not in a good way.
Of course.
No.
I don't think it ever will.
He's never been. Not like the old days.
So, reminder, he's the disgraced sports doctor who is convicted of sexually abusing all the female gymnasts. So, it is on Sunday.
But he's not the USC guy.
He's the Olympic
guy. There's the Olympic guy.
And Michigan State.
Yeah.
Michigan State, I think.
There's a USC guy's got the same problems.
No,
yes.
Yeah, so... Well, it's been reported that on Sunday, Larry was stabbed multiple times during an altercation with another inmate at his federal prison in Florida. Twice in the neck, twice in the back, 6 times in the chest. Also suffered a collapsed lung during the attack. It's been reported that he is in stable condition at the moment. But, yeah.
I mean, no bigger target than that in prison, right?
No, they my brother, former retired prison guard, they are the people who sexually abuse children are known in prison as the diddlers. And you were just you were a moving target.
Well, yeah, that of course is not common knowledge, but they were prepared for this fact because he was placed in a unit with other sex offenders. So his unit in 2018 is placed with other sex offenders, and they said
I wonder if they have a good softball team. I wonder if those guys are just better at it. They focus a little harder, a little more disciplined. You know.
They've been around the Little League games.
Yeah, they've studied.
Everybody has candy.
Right.
Yeah, the most fun team, I guess.
Yes.
So the officers who are guarding the unit, they are attributing this attack to working mandated overtime shifts because of staffing shortages. And that's what everyone's saying. It's because of the staff shortages at these prisons are why all these attacks are happening.
How was your brother? That sounds like the most depressing job on the planet.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, I couldn't.
He told me. Okay, all right. 2 things. One, just apropos of nothing, to what we're talking about. I took my dog to the groomer the other day. Make sure it's the dog groomer. Guy just came out.
Oh, a guy came out.
Guy just came out.
Showing him pornography.
Said you seem really mature for your age. Now my dog wants to
groomer.
Now my dog wants to model.
Oh wow!
No, I'll tell you the story my brother told me, but I have to do it in his voice.
Okay,
20 seconds. I wake up the other day and it's snowing. It's pissing snow, and I'm late for work, and I got a brand new truck, and I start the truck, and my wiper snaps off. It hits a piece of ice. Now I'm so pissed. I'm driving to work. I got the window down. I'm wiping it with a rag. I get to work. I don't even have time to get stoned in the car before I go in. I got to go right in.
Wow.
I'm on eyeball duty, which is some guy who's on suicide watch, and I just sit in front of his cell on a stool, and I just make sure he doesn't hang himself.
Wow.
I'm sitting there, and there's 5 other guys on eyeball duty on either side of me, and I'm just sitting on bullshit. And this guy's pacing around. Finally, he goes, "Officer Gould, may I ask you a question, sir?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "I'm in here for another 48 years, and you look more upset than I do." And I looked up at him, and I went, "My wiper broke."
Wow. Eyeball duty.
Eyeball duty.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so because of these shortages, actually, like prisons are being forced to use cooks, teachers, nurses, and other workers to guard these inmates.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the prison guard union is monolithic. Like, you can't get elected governor of California without going to the prison guard union going, "What do you want?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Mike August's brother, his brother, does insurance for prison guards and prison guard union.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to have a lot to talk about next Christmas party.
But so anyway, I'm Larry Nassar stabbed. I'm in stable condition either way. I think everyone's okay with it. But
no one's upset.
Right. But what I love about the Larry Nassar story is this video of, remember in 2018, it was during the sentencing, and there's this father there who had 3 of his daughters who gave their victim impact statements, and so the judge is like, "Is there anything else you want to say before we sentence him?" And this is what he said.
And if you need to say something to help you, I'm more than willing to let you say something. But in a courtroom, we don't use profanity. But if you have some words that you would like to say, I would like to give you the opportunity to say them.
I would ask you to, as part of this sentencing, to grant me 5 minutes in a locked room with this demon.
I have
Would you do that?
That is not
Yes
how
or
our...
no?
No, sir, I can't.
Would you give me
that.
1 minute?
People are laughing.
I can't do that. That's not how our legal system
Well, I'm gonna
works.
Just rush.
He went
right
for
at him. Yeah, gets pinned down. Wasn't no charges brought against him for contempt.
Oh, okay, then, Brandon.
Yeah.
Wow, I'd never seen that.
Great?
That's great.
Yeah.
There was a clip of a guy had kidnapped his son and abused him, and he was being they caught him in another state and he was being extradited back, and they're walking the guy through the airport, and the guy's got a smirk on his face, and there's a guy on a payphone a couple years ago, and it was the father of the victim. And the minute they walk past him, the guy drops the phone, takes out a gun, and blows him away.
Really?
Yeah, you got to find it. And
my dad would never do that for me. He'd be like, "We've got
What'd you do?
pot with no handle. Have some more corn."
But I'm wondering if you're the judge, I go, yeah, okay, just don't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's. I mean, I think we all kind of enjoy frontier justice.
Yeah, if you do that to a kid or this,
Yeah. Like, what do we need you for?
Yeah, I'm not. It's like, it's like the people that against the, they always say, how can you be against abortion and for the death penalty? I'm for both.
Yeah.
I don't value anyone's life.
I always say that. Like, all the people that are against the death penalty love the story of, the guy went in to molest her for the third time, but this time she had a gun. You know what I mean? You go, good, right? They go, yeah, good. And you go, all right, now let's just have the state be the one with the gun.
Yeah, I have no problem at all.
Yeah, we got Leslie Van Houten just got paroled.
That's
crazy, right?
I often, because Manson would still go up for parole when he was alive, like whatever. And I was like, did he get his hopes up? Was he in the window? Was he in the mirror the night before practice? Charles Manson, nice to see you.
That's right.
How are you? Charles Manson. Imagine the job he's going to have when he's out. Charles Manson, Emerson Drywall, come on in the showroom.
Sharon Tate's mom would have to make the pilgrimage like every 7 years to sit there at the county whatever in front of Charles Manson. Oh, by the way, I wouldn't have showed up if I was Sharon.
Yeah.
I was like, look,
we know
she's not getting out. He's not going to get out.
I'm
show up.
astounded Leslie Van Houten's getting out.
Yeah, she's been in for 53 years, I think. I was just talking to Mark Garagos about this over the weekend. I'm like, Leslie Van Houten got out. I was like, the Menendez brothers can't be far behind.
No.
Because the argument is basically, if you can parole one of the Manson family members, then there's nobody in any prison anywhere who can't claim I should be paroled.
She was in the house. She wasn't the one that waited outside.
She was the one that Brad Pitt's hit with a soda can.
Right. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I think she went. I think she was in on the van. I think she was in on the La Bianca.
Yeah. I mean,
murders.
if you were in one of the homes, like if you killed somebody, or if I killed somebody by accident,
right?
Like, and if I killed somebody in a car, like
drunk driving.
Yeah, whatever. Well, I've never been drunk, but something. Blew a tire, killed a guy. Even if it was not intentional, I would assume, well, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life.
Right.
I killed a guy.
Yeah.
And then people that stab and shoot people, they're going like, God, am I going to have to do 3 years?
Right.
Really? It's amazing to me.
One of the craziest short one. The craziest, shortest, and now Ben's going to have to look for it. Dominic Dunn, I think the attorney. I think it was like a news attorney, like a CNN attorney. think he had his daughter was Dominique Dunn.
Yeah. It was the stalking law was written about Dominique Dunn, and he was a very famous. He was a journalist. He wrote for Vanity Fair, wrote a lot of books.
And she was
Griffin Dunn's sister.
Oh, really? Choked out by her boyfriend, like
At
in
Park
the
La Brea.
driveway.
Park La Brea.
Just choked her out with his bare hands.
No, it wasn't her boyfriend. It was her stalker.
I think they had a previous relationship.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We can look it up. Choked her, just killed her with his hands.
Yep.
Did like 6 years and 4 months. Got out. Was 27. Got a job as a chef in Seattle.
Insane,
right? Like if somebody took your daughter.
Insane.
It didn't back the car over. He like wrung her neck.
If Dominic Dunn went to that, he's passed, but like if he went to that place and killed that guy, like he would go to jail for longer.
I know. It's a crazy story. Yeah,
we just want to kill people.
Yes. All right. Anyway, she's getting paroled.
Yeah. What about the Cain Velasquez thing? Is that still going on?
He's out. I mean, he was in for a while. He had no parole.
Yes. Do you know what happened with Cain Velasquez? He
I don't know anything about this.
Cain, former UFC heavyweight champion. Daughter, I think, was being abused.
I think son.
A son being abused at some, daycare, whatever place with the son that lived with the mom who had the
sexually, not like bullied by another kid.
No,
but like, okay.
No, you won't do that to Cain Velasquez. Well,
No.
you shouldn't put anything to Cain Velasquez. Spotted the guy like out. That guy didn't get. I think he got charged or something, but they said his parole. They said his bail cheap or whatever, and he let him out. And Cain spotted him out on the open road.
Bad.
Pulled a pistol out and fired a few shots into the car. Didn't kill him or anybody else, but got arrested and put in jail, and he got no parole.
Right.
The other guy got parole, but he got no bail, I should say. No bail, and he spent a year in the joint, I think, and then he got bailed out. They were able to make bail about a year later. I don't know, and I don't know where the case is.
Yeah.
I got to talk to Mark about it.
Yeah. Crazy.
They dated, moved in together, and after a few weeks, that guy got kicked out. So they were boyfriend, girlfriend, and he just killed her.
And that is when Gavin DeBecker wrote the stalking law.
Right.
Based on that case.
Or you could be mistaking it.
I could be.
For My Sister Sarah sitcom, young
Isn't
chick.
the same? It's the same thing. She was an actress.
Two different actresses.
Really?
Yes. One, my sister Kate, sister Sarah. What's her name? Me and you got to get high, and hang out, and just go round and round and round like tussle.
I just know someone's dead.
No, a woman who has the same sort of description, who is an actress, an upcoming actress.
That might have been the one in Park La Brea.
Right. Who did have a stalker.
Yeah, it was my sister Sam. It was Rebecca Schaefer.
Rebecca Schaefer.
Yeah.
That's the stalker one.
See, when you said, what was her name, Dunn? What was her first name?
Dominique.
When you said Dominique Dunn, it sounded to me like Rebecca Schaefer.
Yeah, they're almost
so
the
I'm
same.
right.
And don't expect your 6 foot
that way.
Your 6 foot wife's not going to call you out on your bullshit, Dana, but I am.
Oh, she will as well.
Well, it'll be condiment related. This is something else. Yeah,
we're in a gray ketchup zone here.
She got shot by the stalker.
Okay, that's it.
And then the guy, I don't know, what'd the guy do? 6 years, 2 months or something? I mean, literally, the guy choked out Dominique Dunn, moved to Seattle, got on with his life. Like he's working as a chef.
Yeah.
He was sentenced 6 years, but served only 3 years, 7 months, and 27 days of a 6.5 year sentence.
That's mind-boggling.
Sentenced to 6.5 years.
Mind-boggling.
Jesus.
And and if you're the father
for murder,
if you're the father of that girl, he's like, well, I mean, if somebody hurt my kid in that way, I would be very happy waking up in jail every day if I had killed the guy. Like, well, I did what I had to do.
Did 3 years out of the 6, and I don't know how they got to 6.5 for murder with his hands.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all.
All right.
All right. There's a lot of controversy over Jonah Hill this weekend.
Yeah, heard about that.
This? So his ex-girlfriend, her name's Sarah. She's a surf instructor. So on her Instagram, she shared screenshots of their like past text message exchanges, while calling him like a narcissist and misogynist. But by the way, Jonah's 39. She's 26. They began dating in 2021, and then split up last year. So I have some of the like the text exchanges, because everyone's kind of analyzing these and either calling Jonah realistic or abusive, depending on how you take it. So I'll just read one of the texts. This is the main one that everyone's talking about. So Jonah texted her this, because remember, she's a surf instructor. She's posting pictures of her surfing on Instagram in bathing suits, things like that. So he says, plain and simple, if you need this, and then he lists these bullet points: surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. If you need to model, if you need to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, if you need to post sexual pictures, if you need friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the way these actions have hurt our trust.
That sounds very reasonable to me.
Well, so a lot of people are saying that he's using therapist speak to abuse her.
Well, here's...
Well, a lot of people pay for that.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, I'm sure that I think it's fine if she then left. If she's like, well, I'm a surfing instructor, so if you have a problem with me surfing in any capacity, let's end it here.
Yes.
Surfing with men, that's a little... most...
If you're surfing, a surfing instructor, you're probably going to surf.
I would say 87% of the human beings that I pass going down... I say pass, but when I drive down PCH from Malibu and come into this shack in Glendale, I don't really pass them as much as I curse them, which is, it's fucking Wednesday and it's 10:45 in the morning. What are you guys doing? Why are you guys out enjoying yourselves?
Because most of them are writers on strike.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Like, they should be walking around Radford with a sign.
How did you arrange your schedule? And I'll see the dudes getting out. They're like 32, pulling the wetsuit off. It's like, it's fucking Wednesday. It's 10 in the morning. Where are you so independently wealthy?
Today's swell dictates your
How
life.
did you arrange your life that this is where you are? But they're all dudes, but there's about 15% are chicks.
Yep.
I would say. So if you're a surf instructor, you will be hanging with dudes.
I remember once in Hawaii on the beach, and this woman walked by me holding a surfboard. It's 5'10", blonde, just flawless, and I thought like, we're not the same thing,
right?
Yeah.
There's no way we're the same kind of human being.
We're not the same species.
Yeah.
From the
and
same
she was
phylum.
just like astonishing.
So. Anyway, first off,
dude from Thailand.
Jonah Hill seems weird to me. Yes. Sure. Does he seem weird?
Actor crazy. There's your headline.
Yeah.
Well, and some other things that happened. So Jonah just had a baby about a month ago. So then she comes out and decides to post all these things. So everyone thinks it's because she found out Jonah had a baby with his new girl, that she's putting out she's airing out all this dirty laundry. But Jonah has not responded at all. In fact, like,
he's smart.
Months ago, he even just said, "I'm getting off social media, period," from mental health and all this stuff. So
he's smart.
So he's not saying anything.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Here's the problem. The problem is there is tons of data being collected on everyone all the time, whether you like it or not. Yeah. I mean, anyone who has a Ring doorbell or a nanny cam or
a laptop,
a phone. I mean, it's just, and this thing where we act like, where you hear the recording of Alec Baldwin screaming at his daughter, little piggy girl or something. It's like, that's a guy who went through a really shitty divorce and lost custody or something, and you stood him up the last 4 times he was supposed to be picking you up. You weren't there, whatever, and he's had a really shit day, and now we get a 22-second recording of him at his worst.
And that's his entirety to us. Like, that's all he's ever done.
Right. And
we've all had terrible moments.
I've said horrible things to people of my entire life.
To me, during the break.
To you, during the break. Yeah. I mean, and you could text, and of course, anyone who's been in a relationship, gotten into an argument, been fucking pissed off, maybe done a little drunk texting or something, and fuck you, and the fucking broom you rode in on, you old bitch, whatever it is. And then we all clutch our pearls, and we go like, oh my goodness, what was this? And it's like, this is human behavior. It's been going on for several thousand years. It's now being chronicled. That's the difference. And the people who release it are really the ne'er-do-wells in this equation.
It is one of those things where, somebody was talking about the George Floyd thing. I was like, this isn't a new thing that police have been doing.
Right.
It's just
we just chronicle it now.
No, it used to be that people didn't walk around with movie cameras. Everybody has a movie camera now. That's right. We're just knowing more about it.
Yes.
Everybody's had I've said horrible things in arguments. It's the nature of an argument. You lose I'm not saying they were in an argument, whatever. I have nothing to do with Jonah Hill. We can all be, anybody can take a random snapshot of us at our worst and blow it up. And that's who you are.
And out of context.
And that's who you are, yeah.
Yeah, the only good, it's also funny, too, because I perceive things differently than everyone else. Like, there's a news story that Joe Biden yells at everyone and does a lot of cussing on some new Axios story or something.
By the way,
and I'm
good.
like, good. That's good. Someone's fucking up. Go yell at him.
Yeah.
Like, I hear the stories that are supposed to be mudslinging, and I go, good. I want whoever's in charge cussing.
Again, like Irish guy angry. Right. Oh my God.
Right. All right. So,
did you ever hear the recording of JFK chewing out the guy?
No.
Oh, there's a guy. Jackie was gonna have a baby, and they had this at the Naval Hospital. They made a special room for her, and they put it in Life magazine. And he calls up the guy that was responsible. And he's the president of the United States, reaming him out. Like, do you know what they're going to... Now they're going to say she gets special treatment. You just blew the Air Force budget. And it's just...
Really?
It's easy to find. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
We've all heard the Casey Kasem one, which is great.
Yeah.
And then there's the...
a little jog named Snuggles.
That's classic. We've heard the... oh God, who's the jazz drummer?
Buddy Rich. That's the. But
that's
this is like
one.
and he drops the F-bomb on him. It's the president of the United States. Like,
I want to hear this.
Yeah, it's easily found. Yeah, it's like
there's the Bill O'Reilly one. Just do it. There's God, what's his name with the hammering? Lawrence O'Donnell.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The hammering.
Is it Lawrence O'Donnell that does it? Who was the sports?
I think it is Lawrence O'Donnell.
Who was the? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is it.
Okay, this is JFK call.
General? Yes, sir. That Air Force has caused itself more grief with that silly bastard. Did you see the post this morning?
Yes, sir. I'm looking.
See that fella's picture by the bed?
Yes, sir.
And you see that furniture they bought from Jordan Marsh? What the hell do they let the reporters in there for? Are they crazy up there? Now you know what's going to do. Any congressman's going to get up and say, Christ, if they can throw $5,000 away on this, let's cut them another $1 billion. You just sank the Air Force budget. You're crazy up there. Are they crazy? That silly bastard with his picture next to the bed?
Sir, I'm appalled, but...
Well, I'm appalled, too. And now, the thing of the matter is, I'm going to get that furniture. I've just told Sylvester, and you can talk to him. I want to find out if we pay for that furniture, because I want it to go back to Jordan Marsh's.
All right, sir.
Then I want that fella's incompetent who had his picture taken next to Mrs. Kennedy's bed, if that's what it is. I mean, he's a silly bastard. I wouldn't have him running a cat house. And that Colonel Carlson, who let in Larry Newman and those reporters, is he crazy, too? Christ, they're not all incompetent. Is that the way they're throwing money around over there? You better look into it, and especially when you told me that they hadn't spent a cent.
Well, sir, this is obviously...
Well, this is obviously a fuck-up. That's okay.
Right.
Right.
Wow, that's awesome.
There. And he knows about cat houses. So when he says, I wouldn't let him run a cat house, he's not just pulling words out of thin air.
Now, cat house, don't confuse cat house and groomer. There's
very different.
Cat condo's fine. Cat house, that's different. Yeah. I just love when guys are getting chewed out and they just make noises. You know?
And also, it's like, that guy's an Air Force general.
You be John F. Kennedy and chew me out.
Now, how I come in here and I see these pigs, I can't get into the lot. I'm standing out on flour, running the bit. Who's in charge over there? I had to wait 11 seconds. 11 seconds in 70-degree heat. Is that how you run your show? Well, it's insane.
Yeah.
Taking it.
And by the way, and the first thing that guy did when he hung up the phone was chew out the person that was in his eyesight. What are you doing? Drinking coffee?
Right. Yeah. He had to yell at whoever.
Yeah, and as a grown man, Air Force general, and you just got to eat it.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about this. One of my favorite things. You talk about like a moment of your life snapped on camera and blown up for the world, and that's you. Picture in your mind the picture of, speaking of Kennedy, the picture of Lee Harvey Oswald getting shot. And there's Jack Ruby and there's Lee Harvey Oswald. And then there's the Texas Ranger that Lee Harvey Oswald was handcuffed to.
Right.
And he's going, ah!
Right.
He's okay. The guy is like 6'2". He's built like a linebacker. And he's a Texas Ranger in Dallas in 1963.
Right.
This guy was a badass.
Right.
They had the guy that assassinated the president and they handcuffed him to him.
Right.
So you know this guy, you don't want to mess with this guy.
Right.
But it's a split second where the guy next to him is getting shot. There's literally a pistol being fired a foot, and he has a very normal reaction of, Ugh!
Right.
But that's him for the world. Right. So I used to do a bit in my act, and I was in Addison, Texas, I go, for the rest of that guy's life, all of his friends were, hey, we're going to lunch, Mike. And they all doing that weird position.
Yeah.
Guy came up after me to the show and he goes, that guy is my grandfather.
Wow.
And he goes, and that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've transcended comedy, Dana Gould. Yeah. You study the human condition at this point. It's beyond. But it's true. But the best comedy is something that had to have actually happened.
Had to happen. Yeah.
Gotta bust his balls.
I'll give you a plug for that. Hanging with Dr. Z, and you can.
It's on YouTube.
Haven't dropped the new ones yet, but you can definitely look at season 1 and season 2 on YouTube. Hanging with DrZ.com. I'm going to be in Vegas at Jimmy's Club. I'm going to be in Portland. I'm going to be in Appleton, Wisconsin, Honolulu, Louisville. Just go to AdamCarolla.com for all my live dates.
So when you're in Appleton, you can be, I was just in Vegas, but they don't know what they're doing. You guys in Appleton are off the hook.
You go to a place like Appleton and you go, you brought it up earlier. It's like, I haven't seen a Saturn driving on a city street in 14 years, but there's 3 of them I just saw.
Appleton was where Mike August would ask, what do we need to know about Appleton? And every single person's like, Willem Dafoe was born here.
Yeah. All right. So, till next time, Adam Carolla for Dana Gould and Chris Mexipat saying mahalo.